If you have been in the Pokemon hobby for the last year, it's been a heck of a ride. And if you've been in it for the last 4 years, it has been one heck of a ride. It's a crazy market. Today we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about what the market's doing right now, what it means, what the possible scenarios could be going forward, looking at the past. History repeats itself. Um, a little bit of market information, give you my opinion, tell you some of the things that I'm seeing, and let you form your own opinions. That's what it's all about. My name's Greg. Uh, I own a Pokemon business called Kings of Kanto. I do some vending. Primarily, I sell on TCG Player. Um, just crossed over a year on TCG Player. Done about $80,000 in sales. Um, Most of it's been all bulk. I just recently started having bigger months. It's always been a side hustle, kind of transitioning full time right now. If you don't know the story, you'd have to go back and watch the other videos. The Pokemon market, depending on how you got here and how you feel about it, is going to determine a lot of the way that you view it. I'll tell you right now, it's running hot, and I don't see it slowing down. I really don't. Um, I follow a lot of content people, a lot of investing, a lot of market people that just show the facts, show the numbers. It just seems like it should be slowing down, but it's not. And I don't think it's going to. I got back into the Pokemon hobby in 2022. Um, it was starting to slow down. We went through a really slow phase through the middle of Sword and Shield. Even though the sets were good, it was still slow. A lot of you that are here right now don't know that. A lot of you that are here right now, all that you know is that if you are at your computer when Pokemon releases a set on Pokemon Center, that you can make a couple $100. It wasn't always like that. The Pokemon Center used to put out promos and beg you to buy stuff. That Van Gogh Pikachu everybody wants? Yeah. They only made that to clear out a bunch of old inventory they had. People went on there and bought building battle kits for Fusion Strike. Nobody wanted that. You want it now. That's the way it always is. When it sits, it sells. It just does. I'm going to give you my personal opinion about what's going on and about where it's going because you're going to hear a lot of people say a lot of different things. You're going to have two different parties here. You're going to have your guys that are the villains that are, it's going to crash, it's going to zero. Pokemon's eventually going to print so much of this that nothing's going to be worth anything. Okay. And then you have the other side of it that, man, things are great. It's continuing to rise. Man, we could never see MSRP again. We're going to continue to see growth that's greater than the returns on the S&P 500, and Pokemon is just the greatest thing that nobody's discovered. I don't think it's either one. And I'm going to tell you, I align a lot with a couple of different people in the hobby. Uh, Eli, Pokemon USA, Alex from Nostalgianomics. I watch them. They have a weekly podcast that's probably the best Pokemon podcast on YouTube. It's every Monday. If you're not watching, you should definitely tune in. Two guys that know a lot about what's going on, taking questions and talking about the market. I enjoy it a lot. I do fundamentally disagree with a couple of things. Not so much Eli, but Alex. And I like Alex a lot. I've done business with Alex. I sell him slabs and stuff that I have sometimes. I've bought stuff off his stream. Um, I think that he's super smart guy. Head on his shoulders, really good, really good dude. his idea of we have a different type of buyer in the market, we're bringing more money into the hobby. While these things are true, I don't personally believe that these new people and this new money can prop up the market long term, despite what anybody thinks, anybody in that group, anybody in the investing segment, despite what they think. Uh, Timmy, that works at GameStop, accounts for a large portion of the collecting space. Yeah, people like me and people like Alex and people that were high earners that um, had money to spend that could buy that everything that's getting swapped right now are it's a bunch of resellers. It's a bunch of investors selling to each other. That group that are middle income people, even lower income people, the teller at the bank that makes $14 an hour, but she's super nice and sees you know, my credit card cover that's got Gengar VMAX on it because I'm going to pull money out of my business account that has a Pokemon named King Zacanto. Man, I love Eevee. I can't really find anything to open. And Facebook Marketplace, everything's too expensive. That group of people, when they fall off and Pokemon's not readily available for the new group to go in and get that, it's going to slow it down because all the folks with money, all the folks that have all these products, it's no good if you can't realize the gains. And the amount of people that just want a cute Eevee card or just want to open a few packs is going down. Market fatigue. It's called market fatigue. I believe that we're seeing that right now. I used to be able to get on Facebook Marketplace, list a PSA 10 of anything, and sell it in 48 hours. The only people that message me now are people trying to buy it at 80% because they're resellers. They're doing exactly what I do. The end consumer that has cash and not a trade, we're running thin on them. I don't care what any of these other PokeTubers think. It's running thin. It's going to reset. And it's healthy for it to reset. Anybody that knows anything about the economy, it can't be a parabolic climb forever. It just can't be. It's healthy to have a reset. We probably need one. And the good thing is that if you're like me and you're watching this because you're in this space and you want to talk about and hear people that are like-minded talk about stuff like this, all I can do is give us more opportunity, just opportunity. Pokemon Company they're wicked smart, dude. I mean, yeah, I hate what they did with the last 6 or 7 sets. This last half of Scarlet and Violet, man, they really screwed up my bulk game. I mean, I was digging for Earthen Vessels and Buddy Buddy Poffins, Ionos and Arvins and Boss's Orders and all kinds of stuff that was worth all kinds of money. Pokegear 3.0s. Man, I could dig out a bulk lot and just go to town. I mean, I dig through, I could buy 5,000 cards and in the first 1,000 dig out enough playable to pay for the whole bunch of cards. But they got super smart. They knew what they were doing. I 100% believe that this was completely planned. They either want to raise the MSRP or they wanted to create a market that was so favorable for retail that they could secure some long-term relationships with big box stores. I think that's what we're seeing. I am put on my tinfoil hat, and you can call me a conspiracy theorist or whatever. I think that they looked at it and said, hey, we don't ever want to be sitting around at distro begging these guys to buy our stuff again. We already have some stuff planned, Team Rocket stuff, trainers, prismatic evolutions. We're going to turn this thing on its head. The big box stores are going to be dying to lock in contracts with us, and I think that they're feeding them. They are feeding them, and it's smart on their part. You can't blame them. Can't blame them. Selfishly, do we all want to sit around and find a way to open booster boxes for $100? Hell yeah, we do. I love opening Pokemon cards. That's how I got here. You know. So do you. You want to open them, but it is what it is. I think their grand scheme of things was they wanted to turn the market up. They knew it was going to be like this, and then they messed up my bulk game. That's where I was going with that. How they reprinted every playable card in Prismatic Evolutions. They knew what they was doing. you know, uh, really killed the bulk. I mean, slaughtered it. The playable cards. If it wasn't for Night Stretcher, if you buy a lot of cards and they didn't open any Fable, sometimes I just drive off. I'm just kidding. I didn't do that to anybody. But if you're digging through it and there wasn't any Fable in there, you knew you better grind. Better list all those reverse hollows. Hope somebody's trying to collect the master set, because that's about all you could do. Basically, what I'm saying is I think that our end consumer is out of money, because I do believe that a huge portion of this hobby is propped up by average people that just want to collect pincers or scythers or totodiles. It's the reality of it. Not everybody wants to, you know, not everybody wants to open cards so that they can try to grade something that might 10x, or, it's people that are in the business of investing or flipping or run a TCG store. We all see it financially, and it looks great, but the end consumer is what you got to think about. Okay, so I will say I do think that it's gonna slow down. Do I think it's gonna crash? I absolutely don't think it's gonna crash. It ain't got a shot in hell to crash. Um, and I'll tell you why. There's really two different scenarios, and you can look at the recent past and look at it. Um, the way that Sword and Shield ended, Crown Zenith was a great set. Silver Tempest, Lost Origins, Brilliant Stars, all good sets. Evolving Skies obviously kept everybody on their toes. Sold great. Anything that had it in it sold. And then the next era that came out started out very, very flat. Well, you can already know that scenario is most likely not going to happen. The mega thing's pretty big. The White Flare Black Bolt thing, I just don't think that's that good of an ending, in my opinion. I talked about this last video. I don't think the set's that great. You know, your average collector out there, yeah, 100 something illustrationers, that's great, but they don't know who half of the Pokemon are. It's just, it ain't a Squirtle. I don't think, I just don't think it's going to hold up. Now, if you look at it, theoretically, the end of it is the end of the era was as strong as the end of Sword and Shield, but I think that it could end up being more of like the end of Sun and Moon. If you ask me, in all honesty, they can't reprint everything, guys. Some of this stuff is not going to get a reprint. Most of it, I think, is not going to get a reprint. We may even end up with a team up effect on something. I mean, It just could happen. I mean, there's a couple of strong. I mean, Surging Spark's a pretty good set, guys. I mean, Latias, Milotic, the Pikachu, pretty good set. Pretty good illustration rares too. What happens if it never gets a big one? I mean, I know they said it got one, but it didn't really get a big one. You know, Cosmic Eclipse. Boy, everybody could use more of it. Destined Rivals. Look how strong Destined Rivals is performing. I mean, if they don't keep on making it, can you imagine? That's a Sun and Moon ending. And there was a lot of hype for Sword and Shield when Sun and Moon ended. I personally think, and you know, keep the receipts. If I'm wrong on this, you can come back and tell me I'm a dummy. I don't care. You know, anybody that's been watching all my videos knows by now. I'm opinionated about it, but I don't really give a crap if I'm wrong or not. But I'll tell you right now, I think I see more of a Sun and Moon ending than I do a Sword and Shield ending. Everybody's waiting for this massive Fusion Strike, uh, um, Chilling Rain, you know, bloodbath, or this big, huge Lost Origin Silver Tempest reprint kind of scenario. It ain't gonna happen, folks. I just don't think it is. I mean, Unbroken Bonds, Ultra Prism, those were sets that were, I mean, that's your Stellar Crown. That's your uh, Temporal Forces. Temporal Forces and Ultra Prism might as well have the same name. I'm not talking about the quality of the sets. I'm talking about the scenario. Short print, never got another. They're so busy with Team Up and Cosmic Eclipse and, you know, finding a way to obliterate evolution still, you know. Think about it. They're still pumping out 151, and they're gonna be pumping out Prismatic nonstop, dude. Hidden Fates. I'm telling you, I think it's set up for a Sun and Moon ending. Sword and Shield had a huge hype going into it. I think Mega Evolution, you know, it's pretty big hype. A lot of people are excited to see what's up with this new block. Just like a lot of people were excited to see what was up with Sword and Shield. Man, it was selling like hotcakes and it sucked. Bro, go back and look at those. It sucked. Sword and Shield base sucked. Robo Clash sucked. Darkness Ablaze, one of the worst sets ever. I'm telling you, that's the direction it's heading. That, in a nutshell, is my opinion about the Pokemon market right now. Uh, I think it's great. I think it's running high. I think it's running hot. It looks really healthy on paper. But I'm telling you, don't make fun of the Timmies. Don't make fun of the Poors. Because those folks hold up a tremendous part of the hobby. Pokemon can't leave those people behind. Neither can vendors or people like us that sell. I mean, they need to be able to open stuff affordably. You know, they need to be able to collect and have fun with it. You know, you shouldn't have to be rich to have fun with this stuff. And, you know, I don't care what the excuse is. They say, oh, well, singles are cheap. Just tell me to go buy singles. Man, they want to pull the card. They want to pull the card. So do you. It's just my opinion, guys. Don't care who likes it, who doesn't like it. But it ain't crashing. But that roaring engine, it ain't carrying everybody down the road. We'll see what happens. Mark it down, keep the receipts. Let me know how I'm a dummy in a year if I was wrong about it. I'll see y'all next time with something new. We'll talk about some business stuff on the next one. I've been thinking about some stuff that I did uh, to kind of boost my sales here recently. We'll talk about that. I'll see y'all later.